Hi, today's topic is building a risk management culture within an organisation. But of course, before I talk about how to build a risk management culture, I actually want to talk about what a risk culture is. Now, it's something that's talked about quite often, but I don't think that people have a real understanding of what that risk culture looks like. Now, a risk culture is an organisation or an organisational culture whereby everybody is prepared to discuss risk and risk management and what can go wrong, as opposed to some cultures you may have been involved in organisations where there's a blame culture and everybody tries to hide things so that the senior executive don't know about it because it's felt that there's going to be retribution. So that sort of culture where there's the blame and there's the hiding does not allow you to move forward as an organisation. And organisations like that are less likely to meet their objectives. So what we want to try and do within our organisation is move towards a risk culture, a risk-friendly culture. And we do this in a number of ways. The first, and I guess the most important, is through senior management support. Senior management need to be very, very visible to make sure that everybody in the organisation understands that they believe that bad news does not get better with age, unlike red wine. And so they need to be encouraging people within the organisation to let them know when things have gone wrong or when things are potentially going to go wrong. That moves us then on to the no blame culture. And what we need to do there is to make sure that we learn from our mistakes as an organisation. What I believe to be true is that no failure or an event within an organisation is a one-step failure. What I mean by that is that everything in an organisation is a system of systems. And when somebody has done something at the end of a chain, it is literally that. It is a chain. And something else has failed, and something else has failed, and something else has failed. So it is a system breakdown. Yes, there might be a human at the end of the loop, but maybe our policies weren't good enough. Maybe our training wasn't good enough. Maybe the supervision wasn't good enough. So let's learn from that and actually then build that into our policies and our organisational structure to make sure that it potentially doesn't happen again. So the first thing there was the communication. The second thing was the no blame culture. The third thing is train your staff. Make sure your staff have the knowledge and the skills to understand how they identify the things that can go wrong or the things that have gone wrong in the past and actually record those and move forward with trying to stop them happening in the first place. Or if they do happen, make sure that you're in a position to minimise the consequences. Let's face it, within an organisation, no matter how much planning or how much risk management you have done, things will still go wrong. What we need to do is to prepare ourselves to minimise those consequences. And that gets into business continuity planning, which will be a subject for another topic. So just those things alone, if we make sure that we communicate from the top down and the bottom up, if we understand this is going to be a no-blame culture, people will move forward and be prepared to actually have that discussion with their supervisor, who will go to their manager, who will then go to their line manager, rather than having the situation where each of them says, well, I'm not sure that we want to tell the bosses that, or that worst case, they diminish it. So the bottom person might have said, this is about to fail. The next person up the line says, well, this might fail. By the time it gets up to the top, the thing is all honky-dory. And so we end up with this situation where there's these known unknowns, the unknown knowns. So there's stuff that's known below, but not known at the top. And that can actually be really, really bad for an organisation. So that's the real crux of how we build a risk culture within the organisation. Make sure we have a discussion, make sure we're open to risk. At the end of the day, what you need to understand is that every organisation is in a risk environment. And we need to make sure that that risk environment doesn't come back and bite us on the backside. Till next time, let's be careful out there.